Welcome back to my Pokémon Emerald Hardcore Nuzlocke walkthrough. In the last episode, we took out the notorious Winona with relative ease. We were very overprepared for the fight, and it paid off nicely. Afterwards, we took the long trek towards Moss Deep City and the 7th Gym, dealing with the Team Magma and Aqua storyline along the way. And after a ton of grinding later, we are now ready to take on Tate and Liza. The road from Gen 3 Casual to Emerald Master continues. Let's do this. So, if you remember what happened at the end of the last episode, I basically finalized my team and began preparing for the Tate and Liza fight. You also may notice that I have swapped out Breloom for a Sharpedo instead. The decision to level up and evolve my Carvanha instead was a direct result of those preparations that I was making. The more and more I thought about it, I started to realize that I was just taking too many risks with the way my team was currently constructed, relying very heavily on Sapphire and Gyarados to do most of the damage. Sharpedo will make this fight much safer to navigate both offensively and defensively with his dark typing. However, what is not cool about this Sharpedo is that it has a careful nature, which lowers special attack, and that is actually enough to make this fight a lot more scary for me. So here you'll notice that I've actually committed some of my hard-earned money on Calcium to boost his special attack EVs. I've also had him hold a Macho Brace and spent a lot of time EV training that same stat as well. It was quite the grind, but it's going to make this fight a whole lot easier for us. With the team now officially finalized, let's see what we got in store for the Psychic Twins. Our starter can now finally begin to have a huge impact in boss fights. Sceptile is leading the charge for this fight, and will be hitting the Leaf Blade button over and over again. He's holding a Person Berry for this fight in case Xatu decides to use Confuse Ray, which would make things much more complicated if you were to pull that off. Running alongside Sceptile for the upcoming double battle is our newest team member in Sharpedo. I highly recommend bringing at least one dark type to this fight due to the immunity the typing gets against psychic moves, and Sharpedo is a great pick. I'll be using either Surf or Crunch depending on how the battle plays out, but either case is going to be very strong against all of their Pokemon. Sharpedo is also holding a Person Berry to again avoid being confused by Xatu, who literally cannot do anything else to this Sharpedo because its only damaging move is Psychic. Manectric is up next, and he'll be used to finish off Xatu most likely with a speedy Thunderbolt. That's really it for the most part. She'll be holding a Citrus Berry just for some extra healing, along with the other 3 remaining team members as well. Gyarados is Gyarados. It's nice and bulky and will be spamming Surf if I need him. I'll probably switch him in regardless just to be on the safe side. He's just got so much bulk compared to the rest of my team. It will be difficult to take him down. Azumarill is a backup to the backup essentially. Hoping my situation won't become dire enough to use her, but it's just good to have insurance like this for your boss fights. And if Azumarill is insurance, then Crobat is hyper insurance. This one's got Shadow Ball and is of course really fast. So if I absolutely need to use it for some reason, the option is there. This team looks great to me, but I was not expecting this battle to go the way that it did. I'm not even going to say anything actually. I'm just gonna go AFK for a couple minutes while you guys watch how this went. I am baffled on how easy this went. This fight went easier than Roxanne, or literally any other boss fight that we've had up to this point. We were not touched once. Xatu used Confuse Ray on both of my Pokemon for some reason, which essentially did nothing. And then the other three all went down with a Leaf Blade Surf combo. Truly ridiculous. On the way out of the gym, I head back to the Pokemon Center to take Breloom back out of the box, as well as a new team member, Lombre. I'll now be able to acquire the Water Stone in order to evolve him into Ludicolo, who will be very, very helpful for the remainder of the run. He's bulky, gets a great moveset, and has a fantastic typing against the remaining boss fights. Moving on to some more story stuff, I quickly head over to the Space Center to deal with Mr. Maxie and Team Magma again. The double battle alongside Steven was not that interesting. Maxie and Tabitha are generally very easy to take out with the team that we've assembled. Afterwards, we head over to Steven's house where he gives us the HM for Dive, and I teach it to Gyarados so we can continue to progress through the game. Gyarados has kinda become an HM mule for the time being, but that should change later on. Before we try and continue the story, we've got some stuff to do. First, I'm heading over to Shoal Cave to the north of Moss Deep City to pick up a very important guaranteed encounter in Spheal. If you've watched my other videos in the past, you'll know that I have an extreme fondness of Walrein. Walrein is an S-tier Pokemon in these games in my opinion. He's bulky, hits pretty hard, has a solid ability, and more importantly, has great boss fight matchups for the rest of the game. Walrein can practically solo the Elite Four if you let him. More specifically, he basically trivializes Drake and his dragon types. I just love this Pokemon and I never get tired of using him. He'll chill in the box for a little bit though, as I don't think we'll really need him for the 8th gym. On to the next task. Now that I have the HM for Dive, I'm going to head back to the abandoned ship so I can pick up that Water Stone to evolve Lombre into Ludicolo. While you're here, feel free to pick up the TM for Rain Dance and the scanner as well if you want them. After leaving the abandoned ship, I don't waste any time and immediately evolve Lombre into Ludicolo. I already have Fake Out, and otherwise all of the other moves I plan on using with Ludicolo are going to be from TMs anyway. Back over to Moss Deep City, I now head south to routes 127 and 128 to fight whatever trainers I can for some more experience, and pick up the various items along the way. There are a bunch of heart scales if you need them, some vitamins, and a rare candy I believe on one of the nearby islands that require Dive to get to. Otherwise, there's not much else to do after some grinding, other than to head over to the seafloor cavern to deal with Team Aqua and their plans. After arriving, take out some grunts, go through some easy puzzles, and do not leave this place without picking up the TM for Earthquake. Other than that, pretty standard stuff. And now, one of the few times you actually face off against Archie, and he's fairly underwhelming for the most part. By this point in the game, your Pokemon are just so much stronger, and dealing with the evil teams is just not as dangerous as it was earlier in the playthrough. You do fight Maxie a lot more in Emerald, which I always thought was a little weird. Oh well, time to awaken Kyogre and take out Archie and catapult ourselves into the climax of the story. I always liked this scene with Archie and Maxie realizing how much they completely fucked everything up. It really made them feel much more relatable. The scene in general just felt impactful, from the dialogue to the constant rain and especially the music. And yes, how can you not stop and bask in the nostalgia that are these cutscenes? I won't bore you too much more with the story related stuff. We follow Steven to the Cave of Origin, speak to Wallace about the conflict, and then head over to Sky Pillar to let Big Daddy Ray Ray know that his two little brats are at it again. Now is also a good time to mention that the Sky Pillar is also a very nice grinding location for this section of the game, if you don't plan on using the daycare or the Gabby and Ty methods to train up your party, that is. The wild Pokemon here are high level and will yield a pretty good amount of experience. And with that, this episode is now over, as well as the storyline pretty much. I can now begin shifting my focus over to leveling up my Pokemon a bit more and preparing for the next and final gym leader, Juan. In the meantime, as usual, please like the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more content like this, and let me know what other kinds of content you'd like to see me do in the future. That's it from me. I'll see you next time.